The Galactic Council chamber glowed like a cathedral of stars, curved tiers of alien delegates suspended in their own gravity wells, banners shimmering in spectral hues. At the center, a massive hollow emblem of the Council rotated slowly above the marble dais, projecting authority, unity, peace. Lies, all of it. Admiral Elena Raines stood alone at the far edge of the circular floor, the only human in the hall. Her uniform, black and precise, contrasted sharply with the opulent colors around her. The air was thick with chemical scents and static from 100 atmospheric filters. She could taste the tension before anyone spoke. "Order!" rasped the High Chancellor, his voice a serrated whisper through the translators. XYRR of the Threx Dominion towered above his podium, an obsidian-skinned creature with 6 glimmering eyes. His voice carried the weight of centuries of arrogance. "We convene today to address the human question." The phrase drew murmurs from the assembly. The Council loved titles, the grander, the better. XYRR continued. "Human expansion has violated the treaties of neutral sectors. Genetic tampering with colonial soldiers breaches our biocodes. Their militarization is a threat to the balance we swore to uphold." The delegates' lights pulsed in agreement. Raines kept her hands clasped behind her back. Her expression didn't change, but her mind catalogued every word, every glance. The Council wasn't debating, they'd already decided. This was theater. From the Dravani cluster, a gelatinous ambassador oozed forward. "Humans have weaponized the void itself," it droned. "Their fleets patrol in silence. They expand without permission. They must be contained." Contained. The word landed like a spark in her mind. Humanity had been told to stay small before, in history, in space, in spirit. They'd ignored it every time. Another delegate, avian and regal, clicked its beak. "They are unpredictable. Emotional. They make war with art, not logic. The archives show their past conflicts were excessive." A ripple of polite laughter moved through the chamber. Raines didn't join it. When XYRR finally turned toward her, the chamber quieted. "Admiral Raines," he said, pronouncing the name as if it were distasteful. "The Council offers you the floor before we proceed to the vote. Speak your defense." Raines stepped forward, her boots echoing against the polished floor. Her voice was low but clear, calibrated to carry through the hall. "Defense," she repeated. "An interesting word for an accusation built on assumption." She paused, long enough for discomfort to settle. "For a century, humanity has honored every treaty, every trade pact, every ceasefire. We brought medicine to your frontier colonies, stabilized your decaying orbits, and gave you the energy drives you now use to patrol our borders. Yet here we are, accused of aggression because we refuse to be passive." The translator drones buzzed as her words rippled through species and dialects. XYRR leaned forward. "You conceal your fleets. You arm your colonies. You build weapons under the guise of peace." Raines's gaze sharpened. "You misunderstand restraint for deceit. We learned long ago that peace without strength is an invitation." The chamber stirred. For a moment, there was no sound but the hum of translation fields. "Enough," hissed the Chancellor. He raised a clawed hand. "The Council shall vote." Holographic sigils ignited in the air, flickering symbols of assent or denial. 41 lights glowed red. One remained neutral, Raines's. "By unanimous decree," XYRR declared. "The Galactic Council recognizes the Terran Directorate as a hostile entity. All trade and communication are hereby severed. Military engagement is authorized. The Council declares war." Applause, discordant, self-congratulatory, filled the chamber. Raines didn't move. She simply tilted her head, studying the display of lights like a teacher examining failed students. Then, in a voice soft enough to cut through the noise, she said, "Is that all?" The applause died. Every translator struggled to convey the tone, not anger, not fear, but indifference. A challenge disguised as calm. Raines turned away from the Chancellor and walked toward the exit. 2 security drones glided closer, uncertain. She didn't acknowledge them. Her aide, A sleek AI projection named Savra materialized beside her as she reached the corridor outside. War declared, it said in its neutral tone. Do you wish to issue immediate response orders? Rains's eyes reflected the starlight through the viewport, 1,000 suns, distant but watching. No, she said. Let them write the first line. History's cleaner that way. She entered the lift. As it descended through layers of alien architecture, her composure finally shifted, not emotion, but precision. She was calculating. Savra tracked her pulse. They will strike quickly. Projections indicate a fleet movement toward Proxima Outpost within 72 hours. I know, she said. Evacuate it. Quietly. The AI hesitated. Abandon it? Relocate it, Rains corrected. Every ship, every satellite. Strip it to vacuum. Leave the lights on. Deception protocol? She gave the faintest nod. Let them think they've taken something. Let them feel the comfort of victory. The lift doors opened into the private docking ring. The TSV Resolute waited, its hull black as the void, Terran sigil glinting faintly near the bridge. The crew saluted as she boarded, human, calm, ready. Admiral on deck, someone announced. At ease, she replied, walking to the command chair. We have our answer. The galaxy wants a war. Commander Dahl, her second in command, turned toward her. And us, ma'am? Rains sat, folding her hands. We'll give them a lesson instead. The stars shifted on the forward screen as the Resolute disengaged from the station's orbit. Far below, the council chamber broadcast the declaration across the galaxy. World celebrated the decision, the fall of the primitive species, the end of the human era. They didn't see the quiet exodus from every Terran colony, the calm retreat that wasn't retreat at all. They didn't see the coded transmissions pulsing through deep space channels, summoning fleets from silence. As the Resolute entered slip space, Rains spoke without looking up. Record for the Directorate Archives. The Council has chosen war. Earth acknowledges receipt. Acknowledged, said Savra. Do you wish to classify intent? Rains watched the swirling colors of faster-than-light travel, her face calm. No intent, she said. Just preparation. In the silence of the command deck, 1,000 small lights blinked on across the holomap. Terran defense nodes awakening after decades of sleep. One by one, they connected. Rains leaned back. Let them fire the first shot. We'll decide when the war actually begins. Outside, the stars folded and vanished, leaving only darkness, and in that darkness, humanity waited. The alien fleets arrived to find nothing. Proxima Outpost, once a bustling Terran trade hub, floated in perfect silence. The cities were intact, power grids stable, orbital stations fully operational. But there were no humans. No transmissions. No resistance. Only the whisper of wind across empty streets, and the eerie hum of automated systems still running without purpose. Admiral Travac of the Vel Consortium hovered above the planet in command of the Spiral Lance. His crew scanned, rescanned, then scanned again. The readings never changed. No biosigns? He demanded. None, replied his sensor officer, her frilled neck trembling. Even the lower tunnels are empty. It's impossible. Travac's claws tapped against the console. Then they fled. Cowards! Record occupation logs and proceed to the next system. His fleet descended, banners bright with victory signals. Drones captured images of abandoned cities and sent them to the Galactic Council as proof. First conquest achieved. Humanity in retreat. But Admiral Elena Rains watched it all happen from deep space. On board the TSV Resolute, her bridge was lit in ghostly blues. Hollow feeds from stealth probes streamed before her, alien fleets strutting through empty colonies, recording their triumphs. 6 outposts gone, reported Commander Dahl. They're advancing fast, no casualties. Just confusion. Rains's eyes traced the data calmly. Let them. Every system they take costs them resources, fuel, logistics. They think we're scattered. They'll overextend. Savra's voice emerged from the calm grid. Predictive models confirm alien morale increase of 70%. Council channels broadcasting propaganda under title Operation Cleansing Dawn. Good, said Rains. Let them celebrate a war that hasn't started. Her tone carried no sarcasm, only cold patience. The human evacuation had been absolute. Every civilian had vanished weeks before the declaration. Every ship, satellite, and comm buoy left behind was transmitting pre-recorded loops and false telemetry. The council thought they were winning. In truth, they were chasing phantoms. 3 weeks into the invasion, the council's momentum slowed. Ships vanished. Supply routes collapsed. Data links flickered. Some fleets returned claiming technical anomalies, engines freezing mid-jump, coordinates scrambled, crews paralyzed by corrupted NAV data. In the council chambers, Chancellor HFY was losing patience. Explain to me, he hissed at the gathered admirals, how a species can vanish from 8-star systems yet still sabotage our fleets. Admiral Corv, reptilian and enormous, shifted uneasily. We believe they're using autonomous defenses. Ghost ships, perhaps. Our scanners detect signatures, but when we approach, there's nothing. Then find them. XYRR's 6 eyes flashed. The galaxy watches, and we look incompetent. The chamber fell silent. Far from the council's fury, deep in a quiet sector behind a wall of ion storms, humanity waited. The Resolute drifted among a constellation of invisible ships, the first expeditionary fleet, hidden beneath cloaking fields and sensor null nets. Thousands of vessels, silent and unseen. Their engines pulse like heartbeats in the dark. Rain stood before the central map, a galaxy of red markers advancing and then stopping. They're choking on their own victory, she said quietly. Commander Dahl nodded. They don't even realize we've mapped their whole supply chain. Their fleet coordination's chaos, species fighting for command, logistics collapsing. Rains allowed herself a faint smile. Predictable. They declared war by committee. They'll lose by it too. She tapped the display, zooming in on the enemy staging grounds. Activate Phase 2 of Aegis Protocol. Begin ghost transmissions from the Luton line. Dahl blinked. That will draw them straight toward us. I want them curious, she replied. Fear works best when it begins with curiosity. The crew moved without hesitation. Moments later, across alien-controlled systems, strange signals appeared, encrypted human frequencies whispering in the dark. Ships reported phantom contacts. Some swore they saw Terran vessels flicker in and out of existence. Others claimed entire squadrons followed. Invisible shadows. Superstition spread faster than truth. By the second month, the Council's war effort began to fracture. Logistics officers demanded resupply. Civilian leaders asked why captured systems yielded no prisoners, no spoils, no explanation. In their desperation, the Council's fleets turned on each other, accusing rivals of sabotage. Admiral Corv's fleet vanished next, 300 warships swallowed without distress call. The only recovered fragment was a data log, a single line looping endlessly. They're already here. When XYR read it, something cold coiled through his chest. Rains, he whispered. The name felt like a curse. The Resolute's bridge remained calm, professional, eerily quiet. Reports arrived, fleets stranded, supply convoys immobilized, AI systems hijacked. Yet Rains ordered no attack. Only observation. Dahl approached. They've fallen for every decoy. The Council's lost a quarter of its warships to confusion alone. Are we going to strike? Rains didn't answer immediately. Her gaze lingered on the hollow of Sol, still untouched, still isolated. When we strike, she said finally, it will end the war in a single breath. No attrition. No heroics. Just truth. Dahl frowned. Truth, ma'am? That they never understood who they were fighting. Savra's avatar shimmered beside her. Incoming communication, open council channel. Priority broadcast. Play it, Rains ordered. XYR's image appeared, distorted but furious. To the Terran Directorate, your silence is cowardice. Your hidden tactics are terrorism. Show yourselves and face the Council's justice. The message repeated across every open frequency. Rains smiled slightly. Desperation already? They want spectacle. Let's deny them. She turned toward her crew. Begin preparations for Phase 3. We'll reveal ourselves when they beg to see us. Yes, Admiral. Outside the viewport, space shimmered faintly, the distortion of hundreds of cloaked ships drifting in formation. From a distance, the region looked empty. Up close, it was a sleeping storm. Each ship carried a fragment of humanity's history, the lessons of Earth, the scars of wars long past, the memory of every time they'd been underestimated. Rains watched the tactical feed as stealth drones ghosted into alien territory, mapping fleet positions, recording panic. Admiral, Savra said softly, Council propaganda now refers to human forces as the Quiet War. Rains raised an eyebrow. A fitting name. Commander Dahl exhaled, tension visible in his shoulders. They think we're hiding. Rains folded her arms. No. We're waiting for them to understand what we are. 2 weeks later, the first alien scout fleet entered the Sol system. Their ships were cautious, scanning every orbit. Earth's defenses appeared minimal. A few orbital platforms, old satellites, nothing more. The alien commander reported confidently. System secure. No resistance. Then, one by one, their ships went dark. No explosions, no distress calls, only silence. Council command lost contact completely. Tracking sensors showed nothing left but static. Back aboard the Resolute, Rains stood before the glowing map. Sol flickered green. Enemy contact, erased. Dahl stared in disbelief. You didn't. No, Rains said. They did it to themselves. Our defense grid never fired. Their own AI turned against them the moment they crossed the boundary. We just watched. The room fell silent. Even Savra's tone lowered a fraction. The Council will not comprehend what happened. They don't need to, Rains said. They just need to fear it. She looked out into the void, the same void the Council thought they owned, and saw it as it truly was, infinite, indifferent, and waiting for the next mistake. The Quiet War, she murmured. Let's make sure it stays quiet. The Resolute's engines pulsed once, then vanished into dark space, leaving nothing but the echo of a human heartbeat in the void. The Galactic Council's victory broadcast played across 1,000 worlds. A sweeping hollow map showed Terran space marked in dull gray. Pacified. Banners fluttered, speeches echoed, and alien citizens celebrated what they believed was the extinction of humanity. Even the Chancellor's voice trembled with satisfaction. The threat has been neutralized. The galaxy is safe once more. But in the Council chamber itself, XYRR's eyes never left the central projection. Something about the stillness of Terran systems unsettled him. No debris fields. No captured fleets. No confirmation of casualties. Just absence. Show me the latest telemetry, he snapped. The attendant obeyed. The display zoomed in on the Orion Spur, human territory. Every captured world shone dimly, as if behind fog. All quiet, said the attendant. XYRR leaned forward, mandibles twitching. Too quiet. He ordered system-wide scans. The data came back clean, too clean. Power signatures identical across multiple planets, every pulse perfectly timed. Artificial. Synchronized. Shut it down, he hissed. All feeds. Now. But it was already too late. The map blinked. Every captured system on display dissolved into static. Then, one by one, they reignited, glowing blue, the color of Terran fleet signatures. The chamber lights dimmed. The Council's own comm networks began to flicker. Holoscreens showed cascading data, lines of Terran code unraveling the Council's security architecture. From every console came the same signal: transmission incoming. Source, Sol System. On board the TSV Resolute, Admiral Elena Raines stood before her crew. The bridge was calm, bathed in cold light. Every officer waited in silence as the transmission linked across the galaxy. Savra's voice was steady. Global broadcast confirmed. They can all see and hear us. Raines adjusted her collar. Good. Let's remind them who they're dealing with. Her image materialized in the council's grand chamber, towering over the delegates. The noise ceased instantly. She regarded them without expression. Behind her, the Terran flag rippled, blue and silver, understated but defiant. Members of the Galactic Council, she began, her tone measured, surgical. 2 months ago, you declared war on humanity. You accused us of deceit, of militarism, of aggression. You were right about one thing: we are dangerous when provoked. A low murmur rippled through the chamber. Raines continued unbothered. You thought you were fighting colonies and fleets. You were fighting time. Every word you spoke, every decree you signed, every system you entered, all of it was recorded. You've been at war inside your own networks. She gestured, and holograms flared behind her. Maps of the Council's logistics grids, intercepted communications, fleet positions. Every secret laid bare. Your fleets? She said. They never invaded our space. They were redirected by your own AI infrastructure. Your victory reports? Fabricated. Your surveillance feeds? Simulations. You've been fighting shadows we painted for you. The silence was total. High Chancellor XYR rose from his dais, voice trembling. This is impossible. You are out of options, Raines finished. Look outside. Across the Council's capital world, the skies darkened. One by one, their defense satellites powered down. Energy grids went cold. Starship engines froze mid-flight. Raines's voice softened. Every system connected to your central network is now under Terran control. No deaths. No destruction. Just stillness. Consider it restraint. XYR's claws slammed against the console. You dare cripple the Council? Raines's gaze didn't waver. You declared a war to prove dominance. We answered to prove restraint. We could have erased you. We didn't. The chamber erupted in panic, voices overlapping, species shouting across wavelengths. But Raines spoke over the chaos. You mistook our silence for fear. It was calculation. You mistook our patience for weakness. It was discipline. You wanted to know how far humanity would go. Her tone dropped to a whisper. Now you do. She stepped closer to the camera. We don't conquer. We correct. The feed cut. In the aftermath, the Council world plunged into blackout. Entire cities halted mid-breath. Fleets hung motionless above the atmosphere, weapons cold. Even the Chancellor's flagship drifted powerless. In the control chamber, XYRR screamed for manual overrides, but the systems remained dead. His aides fled, whispering rumors of Terran ghosts seizing ships, of invisible fleets orbiting unseen. He turned to the blank holoscreen, claws trembling. What have we done? No answer came. Far across the void, the Resolute hovered above the quiet light of Sol. Earth glimmered below, serene, untouched. The war had never reached home. Commander Dahl approached the Admiral's chair. All enemy systems offline. No casualties reported. Good, Raines replied. Savra projected new data, Council fleets adrift, their reactors safely disabled. They are requesting communication, Admiral. Multiple channels. Tone, confusion, fear, desperation. Raines didn't look up. Ignore them. Let them think. Dahl hesitated. They'll see this as humiliation. Let them. Humility is overdue. The bridge remained still, engines humming at idle. Outside, fragments of sunlight cut through the void, painting the ships in gold. Raines finally rose from her chair and walked toward the viewport. We've reminded them what mercy looks like. That's enough. Dahl joined her, eyes fixed on the distant stars. What if they regroup? What if they come again? Raines folded her arms. Then we'll teach again. Lessons repeat until they're learned. Savra's tone lowered, almost human. Chancellor XYRR's transmission attempts continue. He insists on dialogue. Rains allowed herself a small, tired smile. Now he wants to talk. She turned away from the viewport. Transmit our final message. Savra paused. Content? Rains's voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of every century of human struggle. Tell them this: peace is our choice, not our limit. The AI related across the crippled network. Simple. Final. Hours later, the Council's power slowly returned. Systems rebooted. Ships regained control. But the damage wasn't technical, it was psychological. Every officer knew now that their fleets, their systems, their power, all of it could vanish at a human's command. Chancellor XYRR stood before the remnants of his council, voice hollow. We underestimated them. We saw apes with machines. What we faced were ghosts with patience. No one disagreed. On board the Resolute, Rains walked through the dim corridors. Crew members straightened as she passed, not with fear, but reverence. She nodded once to each, silent acknowledgement of discipline rewarded. In her quarters, she poured a small measure of dark liquor, the kind distilled back on Earth. She raised it toward the viewport where the Council's capital star glimmered faintly in the distance. To peace, she murmured. Hard-earned and easily broken. Savra's voice, soft and curious, filled the room. Admiral, was it necessary to disable them all? Rains studied the glass in her hand. No, she said. Necessary was never the point. Understanding was. She set the glass down and returned to her desk. Reports streamed in, colonists returning to outposts, systems reactivating, the quiet machinery of humanity resuming as if nothing had happened. Status of the Council fleets? She asked. Savra replied. Restoring control gradually. Some have powered down permanently. Others remain adrift. None attempt aggression. Then the lesson holds, she said. Dahl's voice came over comms. Orders, Admiral? Rains looked out one last time at the void, the same void where the Council had once thought humanity small. Stand down, she said. The war's over. They just don't know how to call it peace yet. Hours later, the fleet slipped into formation, returning home in silence. The stars stretched around them, vast, endless, indifferent. Rains watched them fade, the faintest trace of pride in her eyes. Humanity hadn't shouted. It hadn't raged. It had simply endured, and in enduring, had conquered without a single planet burned. The galaxy would remember this war, not for its battles, but for its silence. And somewhere deep within that silence, humanity waited, patient, watchful, merciful. Because mercy, Rains knew, was what frightened them most.